Hey there, Boot Zone here. This is a White Knight Eco43A gas-powered tumble dryer. I bought it second-hand, I don't know, 5 years ago. Something like 5 years ago. In here, this bit is not meant to look broken like that. It's meant to be continuous all the way around. I think this part's called the banjo. It goes around like that and down. Like this. I found this part in another one on the street. I can't remember if I disassembled it on the street or if I took it home. I think this is the same one, except you see where that little spot there is with the thermal trip and the button beside it? Well, I think the Eco43A has two. So it's just a matter of making it fit, I hope. I think it's the same. I think the electric dryer, this one came from an electric dryer. I think the electric dryer was the same as the gas dryer, but just that it had a different burner in it, an electric element at the back. So I'm going to disconnect it. It's on a bayonet fitting, micro point bayonet gas fitting, so I can disconnect it as a consumer and then work on it. Whether or not you're allowed to work on gas appliances is kind of up to you, but I'm not going anywhere near the gas. So I'm going to take off the top, a couple of screws at the back, hopefully take off the front panel, and then I should just be able to work on it. That's what I'm hoping, because I think just the screws around there hold it all together, but we'll find out because I don't know. We'll give it a go. What I should say at this point is that White Knight used a lot of parts across all models, electric and gas, so if you can't get a part to keep your gas dryer going, check out the electric parts that are available on the internet second hand, and maybe one of the ones from a White Knight not Eco43A will fit your model. And then think as well, if this video is helpful, think about subscribing, think about giving us a like, think about becoming a member of the channel, or if it's going to save you money, think about leaving me a tip, a little cut of that money. I'd appreciate it, helps me make more videos. Stay tuned. It looks like I might be able to do it in situ, so 3 screws at the back to get the top off and it slides backwards. Then there's 3 screws here, here and here. And this looks like it might just wiggle out or something. Is it caught on something? Might just be sufficient to lift it up to get that screw out of the front there, like this. And there's probably screws at the bottom as well. What's good about this appliance is that it seems to use the same screws almost everywhere throughout. And then there's a couple of screws holding on this ventilation fascia. And I'm suspecting there'll be more screws beneath. Now this slides sideways just a bit. There's a kind of a slotted fellow on the bottom, or 2 of them. Let's put that there. And then, yeah, sure enough, some more screws. What's that one? That one's holding onto the plastic as well. I have a feeling all of this is going to have to come off, so might as well just keep going. This one holds on the tin work. I'm not really sure what to take off first, but I'm just going for everything. I don't know, I might actually have to get in from the back, because the way the motor connects to that, I might have to pop out a little plastic dealie at the back, so I might still have to take it out. Yeah, that's a bit frustrating now that I'm into it. I will, because I'll have to disconnect that from the back. Right, we'll get the door off and we'll do some other bits to make it a bit lighter to lift it out. So this is held on with 2 screws, the door. It just lifts up, wasn't held on with anything. Another screw behind it. And 2 screws on this locking unit, but it's like a catch plate or something like that. The only reason you need to take them off is because we're separated from the banjo. So if it is called a banjo, in fact, let's pull that screen. It's out too. This machine has done a lot of work for us. I got it from a guy somewhere like about an hour away from home. There's that plate and 2 up on top. This yoke on top is where the micro switch for the door lock. The door, it's not an interlock this case, but it's a micro switch is what they call it. this off, we'll see what we're dealing with here. Right, this might just, there's one more screw hiding. I seem to like doing it that way. That should be the last screw holding on this front piece, unless I've missed one. Oh, it's got taped on wires, right. So I've lifted it out, which is a bit of a mission. Disconnect the gas, the electric, and the extractor hose, exhaust hose. And then down the bottom left at the back is this cover plate. So take that, disconnect it, set it aside. If we look in here, pull out this black fellow, ductwork. And then in here, this is the tricky bit, right? I have a bit of light, so you can see up on top of the motor there, there's a little black. If you can see right in here, there's a little black button there onto my finger. You gotta reach in and get that out with your fingernail or something, and it's just like a little pin. Pull it out. I'm gonna have to get a finger on each side, I reckon. And now I've dropped it in here somewhere. I can't see. So hopefully I'll be able to see it when I get the thing out on the other side. I don't know where it's gone. So rather than disconnect those wires, I've just left them. Now, what else is holding this on? So this thing, oh dear, what's that guy? I don't recognize it. I think it was probably something to do with here. Don't know. Probably something like that. Is it broken? Does it go that way? Maybe. How does this fellow come apart then? So back in here at the motor, I forgot about this. That little black plastic pin means that you can't rotate this plastic fellow here. But when it's out, you can rotate that and release it. So now that's the motor released from the ductwork at the front. Back to the front. Now at this point, this is all but loose, and I wonder what's holding me in. I think there could be a screw underneath or something like that. So there's probably a madness to my method. I've got the thing over on its back now. Let's clip off this guy here if I can. Oh, sugar, that's not meant to break. Right, then what? Holding it in. It's almost like it doesn't like the drum being there. So the 4 screws here, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold the motor on, and then the motor drops off. Probably should have unplugged it first, but that was getting in the way, so I should have taken that off when I had it over on its back, but I didn't. But now here we are. I think we're nearly there, except for the wires that are on the temperature things, and I wonder are they... I think they're what's catching on me now. So I think I really need to disconnect them from the other side. Okay, actually here's this guy. So now that I've broken that off, I'm going to have to make a clip or something to hold that on, or put a screw through it. I'll tip it up again. So where I'm getting stuck is those 2 thermal fellows there. So I need to figure that out. I could just unscrew them as we are, I guess. Like this. That'll come out easy enough, I reckon. We'll get them out. Red is on the left, brown is on the right, and there's a jumper between them. So I could have done this first, that would have made life easier. Alright, let's go back to the front again. Lost a screw. So I'm tipping it up. Back. That's the screw. Now will it come out? That's how we do it. Right. Just wiggle it out, and there we go. So I've had a look over the old one and the new, and they seem to be pretty much the same, about a year apart. The old one had 2 sets of holes, the new one only has 1. I don't know if this thermal trip works. I don't know what was wrong with the old one. It was left out on the street. So I'm going to take away that unit, and then it has a little button to cut out. Now this one's cut out, but it's missing a hole. I'm not entirely sure how to cut that out, other than using, I think, a hole saw is all I can think of. So I'll get a hole saw on the case, and hopefully I won't ruin it. There's a little tiny dimple there to get me started. That went very easily. It looks about right now. Let me get this out. If that's all there is to it, it's not bad going. Let's check this first. It fits pretty good. Fits pretty good. That'll do nicely. Let's put a mark on it and drill another little hole. Get the screw in, because once I'm down there, I won't be really near it at all. Yeah, this one over here doesn't have any, there's no backing really. There's not much for the screw to grip on, so. Right, very good. So the next job is to remove this guy, and it didn't really work out the first time around. The clip broke, and I think that's just because of temperatures and whatnot and plastics over time. Yeah, it's bloody broke again. That's no good. Right, and it's got a rubber seal in there too, and I'll need to give it a bit of a vacuum. So I'll give it a vacuum, get the dust off it, and we'll try and fit it to this side here. Well, that's a bit cleaner, but no, it should just fit like that. And that plastic's not great anymore, and it's definitely gone on that side where the clip's broken off. So I'm going to have to put a screw through there. I'll probably put a screw on this side as well. Not really sure where to put the hole. This is the issue I have here. This side's easy because it's not interfering with the duct work at all. You can just go straight in like this. It won't interfere with the ducting. I don't know if it really matters on the other side, but I'd like to have some kind of a little screw in there. That's all it needs. Nothing much. There's no load on it or anything. It's just to have something there. Yeah, this side here. I think if I could get in at an angle here, I'd be happy enough. It's pretty good actually. It's not sticking out the back or anything, so I think I'm happy enough with that. That's pretty good. So let's go and try and reassemble the whole thing. So I'm lying on it back again. You can see the burner right there, and you can see on the left the brass double solenoid valve for the gas. And there's the thermal buttons that have to go back in. So I just have to kind of wiggle this in somehow. Guessing like this. There's a kind of a divot on the bottom where it locates out through the floor, I think. Is that right? It looks about right. It just sits into the drum, and that's kind of it, I think. Yeah, that little plastic guy just sits on there. I think at this point I just put the whole front back together before I do the back, because the motor is the only one on the back. The motor and those thermal guys. I think I get the front back together first. So what I think is going to be trickiest is getting this latch on top aligned. And that should be okay. And this one here for the door click thing, where did that go? That just goes on the outside. So maybe none of that's so bad. Should vacuum inside this as well. The air comes in, the front of the drum engages with that banjo seal. So I need to give that a vacuum as well. So a couple of cable ties. And this should just go into position then. Kind of like that. Just putting lots of screws in. This is the next job. Where do those wires clip on up here? Like a little water shield or something there. I don't know if you can see that. I can barely see it. And then these little metal clips Let's just clip on like that. Get some screws, we'll get this back together, it won't take long. So a little screw went into the catch plate on each side, I think, didn't it? What's going on here? Just like that. Go. These screws that go into the plastic are slightly larger, so they don't ring out. The small ones in there, they'll just spin out. So that's all of the banjo replaced. I could put the lower fascia on while I'm here. What else could I do? The door. Let's stand it up and get this timer back in. That's that really. This fellow here has just fallen out. I presume it goes like this. And there. Clips on like that. Just to keep things away from the drum, I guess. Wires on it. And they come in like that. Should have 3 little screws. So I noticed when I took out the motor, I noticed that this capacitor is all gummy. So yellow on the right, brown on the left. It just spins off. It's an 8 microfarad capacitor, but if it's gone, it's gone. Sticky. So I've got one from another machine, just swap it straight in. Give it a twist. I don't know that it actually matters which way around they go because it's a capacitor. I don't think these ones have AC capacitors. I don't think they have a direction. You can see maybe the bottom's all sticky there, the goo is coming out of it. This one's come off a motor that'll feature in another video of a different machine. The motor's gone on fire. So it's actually quite easy to see what I'm at down here now. I'll just put those thermal fuses or thermal switches in there. Screw them back in. Now it's peculiar because the thread of the screw just comes into the ductwork, which I think is a bit strange, but that's how they do it. You can see that yellow is where that capacitor leaked. There we go, they're back in. Next is the motor. So this just sits in, rotates in, slots into position on the floor there. It's got 2 little cutouts, and then this guy here fits in somehow and then returns back, and then that little black hole up at the top takes this button. If I can, oh, I can't reach it at all, can I? My hands are too big. That's it, it's in. Okay, so I'll put the screws back in on the ground. Let's put these wires on first. As long as light colors are on the right side of capacitor, we're okay, as far as I can tell. Come on, cable, snap in there. That's it. Okay. If you're ever doing a bit of work, this guy, Makita unnamed 10.8 volt lithium ion impact driver, hand-sized, perfect for these screws. You need a bigger one for doing like 4-inch screws into wood and that, but this all day long for little screws, it's ideal. Line the belt up in the red marks, and then go underneath and start swearing because it won't want to fit. Look, it's just tight, so you've just got to yank it down, ideally with one finger, but if you can see anything at all, if you can get it over the end of it
But you've got to remember that every bloody edge is really sharp, and then start rolling it, and then roll the drum from above, being careful to keep it on this pulley. So if it comes off, you've got to do it again. Okay, we're up. Then this fellow goes in. This black tube goes in there. I should just locate, if you can see in the back. Should just locate into position like that. It won't really go any other way. And then this back plate holds it on. That just holds it on then. So we're all back together. The gas is on, the power is on. It's on at high heat. That just snapped straight in. Look at that, that's much better now. Let's put the filter back in. Like that. When you're fitting the bottom grill here, just remember there's two tabs. Locate them first with the top tilted out, and then slide up to the right a tiny bit and the screw holes will line up. I've seen one on a different model, the one with the other burnt out motor. They put it on upside down, and sure, the air wants to go into the gas over here. It was blocked off. Mental. Right, it should just work. Let's put it up to 40 or something. Turning. We should get gas in a minute. So there's the light to show that it's burning. I'm going to turn it down to the last 5 minutes to turn off the gas, let some air run through it so that I don't overload the thermal fuse. It looks like we're having a success here. New capacitor and new banjo. Super. So there you go. Quite an easy job, ultimately. If I thought about taking the motor out first, it would have been far smoother. So take the top off, take the motor out, and then take the door and all that gubbins out, and it'll just come straight out. And you know, you've already disconnected the thermal fuses from behind. Far easier, whereas I like to feel it as I go and make it up as I go, clearly. If this has been helpful to you, think about subscribing to the channel, think about becoming a member, think about giving the video a like. I'd appreciate it. Other than that, can't say very much. If it's a one-off hit you want to give me, think about PayPal, think about super thanks. Any comments or questions below about what an idiot would do with a gas tumble dryer, you know, I appreciate them. I delete most of the ones that don't paint me in a good light, but they very rarely come in. If you've got a gas tumble dryer, I'd like to hear about it, because these things are getting rare nowadays. White Knight's gone. They used to make them up in Yorkshire, I think, in Crossley in the UK. They're gone now. You can still get gas tumble dryers in the USA, but they don't really sell them over in the UK anymore. Not that I can find them. Made in Britain, as I said there. Other ones have a Union Jack on them. So this is the old one I had. This is the one with the dud motor here. It has a little Union Jack on it. Read the instructions, Union Jack. Parts are rare. You can get them secondhand on eBay. Most parts seem to be there. What I do is I just buy another dryer and use it for parts. But I'm trying to keep these two on the road, because if you've got two machines, then if one goes, the other one can be put in its place. Although in this case, I've got that one. And I've also got this one here, which is a BG437, British Gas 437, which basically is the same thing, but as soon as you close the door, it starts. It doesn't have a start button. Other than that, it's pretty much the same thing. I think everything else is interchangeable with these two, apart from the fascia and the lid. The lid's metal on that one. It's wood on these ones. But, as I've proven today, that banjo came out of a White Knight unknown model that was an electric model rather than a gas model. So parts are interchangeable. Think about, if you need parts for one of these, get them from an electric model and maybe they'll fit, or you know, look at the picture of that. And hopefully that was helpful to you. If so, like I said, like, subscribe, become a member, or leave a tip. Thanks for watching. See you later. So that's not the end of the line for this banjo. What I'm going to try and do as well is take out this dust seal that's in here, and also to snap off these glides. These are like nylon bushings or bearings that the front of the drum slides on. And they do wear out, and I've showed a hot point, I think it was, a really old hot point, maybe a really old Creda, where these had failed, the whole front had fallen down, the metal, sharp edge of the metal had cut through there, and clothes were getting snagged in it, and ultimately it was thrown out on the street by a neighbour of mine. So if you can preserve these, and you can't buy them anymore, not new anyways. If you can preserve these and keep them somewhere safe, if it starts to happen on the other machine, the one that I'm saving, then they'll come in handy. So we'll save them too.